Okay, welcome everybody. This will be my third ramble. It's been a while since I've done uh, a ramble at all, but I figured I would do one because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I felt like recording. So, got a bunch of bullet points here. The first thing I want to get into is not really related to myself at all. I'm just going to needlessly share my opinion, but there's recently been some controversy, drama, whatever you want to call it, with No Monkey and Rastaman, or Scotty as he wants people to call him. Um, the short story is No Monkey and Rastaman were friends. No Monkey gets a girlfriend, and Rastaman starts acting weird. That summary is not very friendly towards Rastaman because I think he's in the wrong in this scenario. That's basically all I wanted to say. No Monkey's girlfriend was like saying, "Hey, don't be transphobic," and Rastaman was like, "Dude, this bitch is crazy," um, which is kind of ridiculous. The guy's a clown, and he's been. There's just been so many instances of him being like, uh, what's the word, bigoted over the years, and I just don't like Rastaman. That's all I wanted to say. I don't even really like No Monkey, but I'm completely on his side in this matter. Um, yeah, I could have done a better job of saying what happened there, but I just wanted to say fuck Rasta, man. First off, and then yeah, it's been a long time since I've done any kind of video going over what's happened on my account. So in the last ramble, I was working on getting a scythe, as well as starting next. Desert Treasure 2 came out. I did GM. It's been a while since all that, so got a little bit of a bank update here. I did get a scythe, and it's kitted. I've been doing some hard modes. Whenever good teams are around, and I feel like potting, I do like hard mode top a good amount actually. I think it's overhated because while some of the rooms are a lot worse than regular Tob for sure, I think Verzik especially is a lot better in hard mode because in a team of full scythes in regular Tob you kind of just delete Verzik, but in hard mode there's a little bit more thought you have to put in there, which I really like. But yeah, I haven't been doing much regular Tob. I kind of lost interest after getting Scythe because the only thing I'm there for is this last piece of Justy, the chest, and the capes. I would like to get the 1K cape. I'm not so sure about 1500 or 2K anytime soon, but I would also like the Justy top, but just not a big priority for me right now since I got the Scythe. Um, yeah, and then I was also working on Nex, or I was starting Nex when I made the last Ramble. I think I had like 320 shards, and that's when I had one Van Braces and one Torva plate and 320 shards, which was very good luck, but my log has balanced out a good amount. I've got pretty good distribution, I think. I got, four out of the five main uniques that people go for in six drops total here, and with this amount of shards, I think six drops is give or take what you expect. I think I might be like one drop behind, but not the end of the world. So I've actually come to really enjoy Nex. I really like doing duo Nex, especially. I'm not big on trios, but I've done most of my KC in duos. So I have a lot of shards per my KC because I've a lot of my duo partners are people without T-bows, so I kind of farm MVP on them. So I've got like 80% MVP rate, and most of my kills are duo. So if you don't look at the shards, my log looks, I think it looks pretty good. Kind of hard to tell because like a lot of next logs will have like really high KC, but then not a lot of shards because like, oh, you're doing masses or like really big scales, which just makes it look misleading. Yeah, and then I think I also didn't have a saying last ramble. So I now have a saying, which is like, of course, mostly dead content these days. However, it was useful for me because I don't have a Kodai. So the Nightmare Staff, although it has the 15% magic damage, right? It doesn't have uh very high magic attack. So for top, it's kind of hard to hit 100% freeze thresholds if you're doing five-way freezing, unless you have a like 25 attack staff, so I was able to make a toxic staff of the dead by breaking down my trident because I've only got the one magic fang, which was it's kind of nice. Um, and saying is just like a little useful as Ulra and top itself, not the biggest deal in the world. And I also got Virtus Robe Top. I went somewhat dry on this. I mean, I definitely was dry, but I wasn't like it wasn't anything insane. It just the log was kind of misery because I got a ton of Virtus masks and Virtus legs. That the top took the longest, and I got all four of these Virtus masks before any of the other pieces I have. So I was very happy to get the Virtus tops. Now all I need for DT2 completion is the Leviathan pet and the Bar Dwarvis pet. And then, of course, Varlamore came out. Let's see. Which came with the Fortis Coliseum, which I did 41 kills of. I think it's alright. It's like, I really like Soul. I think Soul's a very fun fight, but the waves themselves, I don't love. I think they're pretty fun. Like, I went for sub 20, which is not a very impressive PB these days, but I had fun going for that while I was working on imbuing the quiver. I originally, my goal was originally to get the splinters for the quiver without trading any in, so I could get more pet rolls without trading in any quivers for splinters. But I gave up partway through because I was just not really having much fun doing a bunch of Coliseum every day. So it's on my to-do list to go back to get this helmet and maybe the pet, but that probably won't be happening anytime soon, to be honest. And then, of course, there was also the Moons of Peril, which came with Varlamore. I just did this when Varlamore dropped. I think it's pretty fun. I really like the art in this area. They did a great job with that. Much better in the Coliseum. I think the Coliseum has really shit assets. Like, I think all the mobs look like reskinned, like TOA Warden P2. It's bad. The Minotaur looks pretty good. I also like the furry guys, but the Shocker and the Javelin guys, both looking like the same humanoid type thing, just really, I think it was a missed opportunity, as well as the boss. I think the boss like looks fine, but I don't like that three of the main NPCs you're fighting all look like very similar, like structurally. Of course, the Shocker and the Javelin actually look different, like colors wise, but the fact that they're like the same uh, model. I'm not a designer, so I don't know that the proper terminology to use, but like they look very similar anatomically, which I thought was uninspired, but it's overall good content. I think it's an okay successor to Inferno. Like the main gripe I would have is that it's too easy to brute force waves. So it's like you can get to Soul just off of pure RNG, much more consistently than in the Inferno, just because of the quantity of waves is so much lower. Um, which I think is just it's a very tough balancing act because it seems like they wanted it to be faster than Inferno, which I like. I think it's like a good goal. Um, but yeah, it just made it so you can RNG the waves, which I don't think was great, but what can you do? And then furthermore, also came with the Hunter Guild. Um, I've been pretty unlucky on doing these contracts, these Hunter contracts, but I think it's pretty good content. I don't like that the XP rate is so high, and I don't like the quantity of changes that happened. Like, felt like a game of cat and mouse for a little bit, to where they were a new strategy was being found that's like more XP or loot than they wanted, and then they would nerf it. And then that would make people redo their block lists because it has a like a sort of hidden block system. Um, it's just not explicitly stated by the game, but you can block tasks because there's a variety of masters, and I've had to redo my block list like two or three times because of them changing stuff and people finding out stuff. It's been a little bit of a headache. Um, yeah, and then I want to say that covers all the new content. I don't know if Scurious was out. It's not like Scurious matters. Um, yeah, there was the Desert Treasure 2 CAs. I don't believe those had come out when I made my last video. I think they were kind of bad. Like, I have a gripe with Jagex's CA philosophy, like their design philosophy, in that they're focused on making every new batch of CAs like difficult, like make the people with GM go back and get their helmet back, which I think is a fine goal. I just don't like the way that they're going about it because really trying to find a DT2 boss. Oh, found the easiest one. I'll go to Duke. I just don't like that they're making the speed times, speed times in particular. Like the other CAs, not a very big deal, but I don't like that they're making the speed times the um, every new speed time is one of the hardest ones, generally speaking. Well, actually, no, that's not true. But I don't like that they made the DT2 times some of the hardest times. They did go ahead and nerf it, so I did these before the nerf, so like my perspective is informed through that. Okay, it looks like my mic's not picking up the police sirens. Anyways, um, yeah, so like my perspective is informed through having done these tasks before they were nerfed. So I liked them less because of that. But I don't like that they thought it was okay to ship Whisperer time at um, 2 minutes. Like just look at a sample size of people who've done 1,000 Whisper kills. If a lot of them don't have their PB that low, like that shouldn't be the speed time. Um, I don't think that these like random bosses should have the hardest times. I think the hardest times, speed times, should be reserved for most, the hardest content, like the stuff that endgame players like doing for fun, not just like drops or money, like the things that people speed run just because they really like it. And Coliseum is one of those. So I was really let down with the speed running time for Coliseum. Like don't get it twisted. I'm not great at Coliseum, but I got this time on like my third KC. This is a joke of a time. I think it should have been like sub 21 at the highest. I would have been cool with sub 20 or even sub 19, although I think sub 19 was never going to happen for the GM time just because people weren't that good. Like good enough to make that time seem reasonable when they've released the CAs. But if they had waited longer, it might have made more sense. Once it was more solved, people were better at it. But yeah, I'm trying to look at. There was another recent set of CAs as well. I remember having to get my helmet back, but I'm blanking on what I had to do for it. Um, anyways, yeah, Perilous Moons also had its own set of CAs. I don't like that they did. I'm trying to check if they changed this because I don't remember, but I remember there was. Okay, so this is the one that requires a drop. Defeat a moon using its associated weapon drop. That's not that bad. Let's see. Okay, I guess they changed that because I remember when it came out, it was like a higher requirement, which I thought was very silly. Like people don't like having to grind items just for CAs. It feels very arbitrary, and I know not everyone agrees with that, but that's just how I feel. I don't think it's very cool. I think CA should more be a test of your skill, and I think it should be the. I think you should be tested most at the pinnacle content of the game. Like I would really be happy if they went back and did a revamp to like Chambers times, for example, because like these times are just a joke. Like a 17-minute solo, that is the average solo. Like I get this time anytime I do a session of Chambers multiple times. It's a joke. And like I'm really bad at Team Chambers. Um, I've just not done a lot of it, and I got these times so easily. Like even having good players, like I get that helps like on your team, but still, I think they could go back and make those times harder, and I would be a lot happier than if we got another Whisperer type CA on release. Yeah, because I just don't think those are very fun. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say for the new CAs because I'm forgetting the ones that I was. Oh, it was Tormented Demons. Okay, well, Tormented Demons doesn't pull it up. Maybe it's because they're not a boss. Let's see. T T T. I don't see Tormented Demons. Are they called like Demons of Torment? Anyways, I remember what the CAs are. The only one that matters is the one where you have to kill three at once. I thought that was actually a pretty cool task. The What was interesting about it is that the demons like naturally off tick, so it wasn't undoable. Whereas the AI was breaking really hard on release, so it appeared to be undoable. until you actually got them in a non-bugged state. Because if multiple people were drawing their aggro in the spot with three, or if you were line of sighting them weird, they would break and just start like all hitting you same tick, or multiple would hit you same tick, which isn't supposed to happen. Um, but then they would, function properly if you got them in the right setting. So I thought it was a pretty fun CA. Um, I cheesed it. I didn't actually do it properly. I just venomed them all and then ran around for like 10 minutes, which I thought was pretty. I thought it was funny. It worked. Um, because I was just like flicking for 10 minutes because I'm really bad at timing those kill things like in a short period of time because the CA is to kill three of them in 3 seconds. And the way you're supposed to do it is to use one of their mechanics where you get lowered attack cooldown, but I didn't know that was a mechanic at the time because I did it day of release. So I just venomed them all in AFK. Yeah, and then I've also got Volcano on my list of bullet points. I finished Volcano. Last time I had no pet, no tool seed, and one less Volcano shard. It might have been two less, two fewer. I might have had one Volcano shard last one, but yeah, when they did the change to make it so you can one down, and a lot of people were doing hopping Volcano, I did as much KC as I could, and I ended up getting the green log here, which was pretty cool. Tool seed was my last item. I think I went like, it's kind of hard to calculate how dry you are for this. I think I went like 2x rate, but very hard to track because of changing team scales and whatnot. And then go back to raids, chambers. I've been somewhat working on chambers. I definitely had a lot less KC in the last Ramble I did, but my log looks like basically the same because I've gotten the last unique I got was this Elder Maul, which was like I want to say over 300 KC ago, which is cool. The Elder Maul is really good now. They buffed it. I think that was a cool change. I don't really like the way you look when you run with the Elder Maul, but like numbers wise, gameplay wise, I think it's great. Um, the Dragon Warhammer doesn't really deserve to be this coming from some like low bob mob, so it's cool that this useless raids item is now like coveted. And the Warhammer is more common, which I think is good for Iron Man. Because I don't know, I don't really care about people having to go kill a bunch of shamans because I spooned mine. But yeah, now it'll be easier to get. So it's easier to get into like end game PVM, which is I think that's pretty important to Jagex, knowing that irons can get into it easier because people like picking iron when they don't want to play an Iron Man, which is their fault, but Jagex can mitigate that however they see fit. But yeah, my log has just gotten worse the more KC I've done because I think I'm like I filled out the sheet of points. I'll pull it up right now. Yeah, there's a sheet that I think it was Raze, Zeroth, and Parasailor made to calculate your expected purples by inputting your points per KC. So I did that with all my KC to see how dry I really am because I was like, this is getting fucked because my quantity of purples is really bad. I've received 20, right? 20 here. The distribution is pretty good. I've got a T-bow. Can't complain. You have T-bow. But I'm expected 31.85 right now, so I'm 10 purples dry, that's been very demoralizing because I got I got this bow at like 400 KC. I got them all like I don't know somewhere between 500 600 or so, and it's just been like nothing since then. Handful of scrolls. I got the Duke buckler at some point, but yeah, that's been like I've been burning out because of chambers. To be honest, I've just not gotten shit. I was trying to go to 1k KC in regs, and I just got demoralized after doing like 150 KC or something with only a few scrolls to show for it. Yeah, but I mean that's about all there is to say there. I want to see some ancestral. Ooh, and then Corp. I think I had nothing from Corp. I had like 400, like 300, 400 KC last ramble I did, and now I spooned the fuck out of it. I'm not even 1k KC, and I've got all the sigils. That's pretty good. I was pretty happy with this. I went Elysian, Spectral, then Arcane. And when I was only ever there for the Arcane, which I thought was pretty funny. But once I got the Ellie, I said like I don't mind doing more of this because getting an Ellie for Corp with the new Fang Voidwaker meta makes it just so much nicer because the less damage you take, the longer you can stay in, and that has a very big impact on your kills per hour. So Ellie was like a godsend there. Yeah, and I ended up just spooning the fuck out of it. It's kind of crazy. Let me see. Oh yeah, forestry. I did the forestry green log. Nothing really too notable in this page. I did this before the nerf to event hopping. The second one, maybe third, not the first one. I know it's not the first one. So in the current iteration, you can only gain rewards from an event if you've recently chopped that tree, um, or you're like near it when it spawns, something along those lines. Um, Whereas before you could just do any event that spawned when you were on the world. So I used I think it was forestry CC, um, to run to events that way, and then after I finished the green log, I stayed and continued to do some for evil chicken. I think I got like 1,000 eggs or so. It was more than 1,000, probably like 1,400 at max. Um, I did that from the Ent events, so I would just like fish crom ones. Then when somebody called an Ent in the CC, I would go, give it a haircut and then get my egg. And I'm just pretty unlucky on this evil chicken. I believe I've got 2,200 offers now, and I've got 3 rolls total, and it's 1 in 300 to get any piece. So I'm expected like 4 more pieces than I have, which is only 1 collection log slot for the record. Like I'm expected to have 3 out of 4 of the pieces of the set at my offers, um, and then 2,500 is when your rate to finish the set. So kind of close, but could still turn around before 2,500. But just kind of sucked doing all that like Ent scouting for nothing in the end. Um, yeah, and then all this Dragonstone is new. I've turbo spoon Dragonstone. I think I've done like 200, 300 keys at most, and I've got 3 out of 5 of the set, which is pretty absurd. Like on an iron, this is one of those logs that you're like, I'm not finishing this. Um, but to have 3 out of 5 is just like a big boon. I'll take it. And then yeah, collection log as a whole was not a very big focus of mine in when I made the last ramble, but I've sort of pivoted towards it because it's content I haven't explored really. It gives me more than anything, it gives me an excuse to do stuff I otherwise wouldn't. So I've enjoyed it because of that. Like it's kind of fun to go just do like some random content. Like suddenly revs have a use. Oh, I also I had no rev weapons last time. I got them all. I don't know if this is lucky or not. Well, this number isn't all on task. Since I got all the weapons, I've done a few sessions of killing them off task, but I want to say I did get lucky. Just having no dupes seems pretty good. Um, and I want to say it was like somewhere around 2,500 that I finished the weapon. So uh, I was like kind of dry at first. I was happy to have my luck turn around. Well, yeah, like very lucky to turn it into a spoon. Can't complain there. And then I did mention tormented demons earlier. I got this tormented synapse on 1KC. That was pretty cool. I got to make the new Fortnite Arclight. I don't know why they made this item. I thought Arclight was already kind of a like overpowered item to begin with, um, but now we have a better one, so it is what it is. I'm not sure how I feel about the design. Like in a vacuum, I think it looks pretty good, but it's just giving Terraria vibes, like which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It feels a little bit out of place in old school, but overall, I think I'm happy with the design. It's fine, not the biggest deal in the world. Now let's see. I wrote in my notes, no more day alt, because I stopped mining day alt. I've got all this day alt. I'm probably never gonna go through this all, or not anytime soon at least. I stopped mining it because I realized I wasn't gonna go through it, so I just started like, and I also was kind of tired of doing a 1 minute AFK, so I've started AFKing Castle Wars, which I finished. This one's a long time in the making, and Trouble Brewing, which I'm not far off done. Well, by the slots, I'm not far off done, but numbers wise, I think this is still like a good third of the log in these last 2 slots, because these ones are super top heavy. Well, top heavy currency wise, bottom heavy slots wise. Yeah. Um, yeah, and then the LMS is like this is the one collection log I really need to finish because it's like the freest slots I have left, but I've just been not in the mood to do real PKing. The bot games are just boring as fuck. And like you can't really AFK them because you'll just randomly get hit by a real person. I mean, you can, but I guess it just feels bad. So you're like, occasionally you're gonna have to like actually play the game, or like you'll be final two, and there will be like a real person, and it's somebody who's actually decent. So you have to start trying, or else you lose your win for the capes, which kind of sucks. So yeah, I've just not been in the mood for this one. I think I'm just gonna stop at the 100 win cape in all the slots. I'm actually fairly close, like points wise, to being done because I'm going most expensive to least expensive as you sell stuff back. So I have like more of this done points wise than it would appear. But yeah, low motivation to do that for sure. Let's see what else I have. Oh yeah, Nightmare got buffed. They buffed the drop rates everywhere, which is good. It's well deserved. Nightmare drop rates were just far too low, and to improve the usefulness of the items, they decided to buff the Inquisitor's mace while using the Inquisitor's set, which I think is very, very, very stupid. I was so dumbfounded by that idea. I was just like, what are you thinking? There were so many good suggestions or ways to buff ink. Like make it so it doesn't have a set bonus, so it's better on task. Remove the negative bonus, which I think should have happened already. Improve the defense, which I'm not really a fan of. I think this armor set should be. I think it should be low defense. I think that's like part of the charm, especially when it's good in chambers. Like it being low defense makes it so it's higher skill cap because now when you're at Ulm, you're having to flick your armor if you want to, like minimize your odds of getting just RNG killed, which I think, although a lot of people don't like armor flicking, I think it's better skill expression for sure. So, but that's a tangent. There's just so many ways they could have done this that wasn't clunky and hard to understand. Like, it's not actually that hard to understand that the mace is better when you wear the armor, but I feel like it's very confusing to me when Jagex says things along the lines of, we don't want to keep adding like convoluted mechanics, and then to fix Nightmare, they add a convoluted mechanic to the weapon. Again, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but it's a lot. It takes more explaining than this armor has no negative stab and slash bonus. That's you don't need anybody to explain that to you. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see what else I have. A rack sword. That's the new boss coming out. It's from RS3, which I've not ever played, but it looks cool. We're getting a new torture, which will be 12 strength bonus and what's this one? 15? I think we get 25 bonuses on this, which I like. I like the strength bonus because it makes Blood Fury worse. I think that like as it is currently with current bis in full Torba with Blood Fury, Scythe doesn't lose a max. Going from Blood Fury to Torture, it's just accuracy. Oh, that's my notification sound. Um, which I think is bad. Like I don't think that's very good. I don't think it's very good for the game. Like Blood Fury is overpowered as is. Not losing a max hit just makes it awful. Like I think you should have to lose that max. It's a trade-off for healing, of course. So the amulet having the higher strength, I like. I'm not sure how I feel about the attack because I think it's kind of power creepy, which like say what you will about that, but I think it's a lot of stats to be giving us, especially when we just got. Well, I can't actually recall whether it was 10 or 15 slash bonus the scythe got, but the scythe got an accuracy buff as well, and accurate zeros were removed, which is also a bigger buff to scythe than other weapons. So the scythe has already been buffed a lot of times, and this new amulet's just another one on top of that. Which, I mean, I'm all for scythe being good, but it definitely feels like they're making the game easier. Um, well, sort of, but yeah. I mean, we'll just wait and see. I don't think it'll actually really change how I play all that much. Like, it's not gonna be a damper on actually doing content, so I can only care so much. And then I'll just go through some of the clogs I've been working on. Champ scrolls, I only had, I want to say I only had zombie last time I did this. I might have had giant as well. No, I only had giant, and I got ghoul, zombie, and hobgoblin since the last ramble. And I did all of chaos druids, chompies, just a lot of like basic clog stuff. It's pretty like fast or easy to do. Did all the monkey backpacks. I got a stale baguette. That's pretty cool. I got something that the rank 1 guy doesn't have. Let's see. Don't think there's anything else too special here. I got the blip block scroll, the teleport anchoring scroll, um, in the new killing the new zombie pirates in the wilderness. I thought those mobs were okay. It was like kind of a battle versus bots, which was the unfun part, but no major complaints from me. I think they print a little bit too much money for how low requirements they are, but I honestly don't care that much. So it is what it is. Trying to see what else there is. I don't think I had aerial fishing done last time. Might be wrong on that, but finished aerial. That's like a pretty long one. So it's like 60 hours, I want to say. And nothing too big in here other than Castle Wars. The Brimhaven Agility Arena. The buffs came out like a couple weeks after I finished it, which felt a little bit dumb about. And then nothing new for Toa, and I already talked about Tobin Chambers. I don't think there's much here in the boss log. Yeah, I've been doing some bossing, just not much slots coming in because that I haven't talked about because of course like most of these, basically all of these bosses, I'm only missing pet, um, and or jar or just other rare items. So it's pretty rare that I get stuff. Pharaohs, I'm missing like a lot of these items, all which are they are common items, although it might not be too common for me to get one with only 6 remaining. Uh, the reason I haven't finished this log is just because it gives elite clues, which I've been softly avoiding elite clues because I'm missing one. Uh, there's one clue step I can't complete, which is the Zamorak Full Helm Mastered step. So I've been going out of my way to do hard clues. Been doing like AFK jellies with the Veni bow or the weed bow, sorry, um, and the thieving the rogue's chest, which is pretty good. I was surprised. It's like a lot of thieving XP, like 9 hard clues an hour. I'm a fan. It's also like good amount of raw GP. If you happen to want clues, seems pretty good. Although I find that a lot of people don't actually need a lot of hard clues because Slayer gives so many. But I'm in a position where hard clues are my like number one priority clue wise, so I enjoyed doing that. But yeah, still no semi full helm in 778. I've got 3 caskets here, but I didn't want to open them in case I get a master clue because I didn't feel like doing a master clue any of the recent times I've logged in. Oh, and I totally forgot to talk about the new quest, While Gothic Sleeps. I never played it in RS3, but I thought the quest was okay. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but it was it was alright. I like this little bro guy. I want to be able to put him in my house. They said you'll be able to soon. It's kind of doofy. I think he'd be a good pet, honestly, but no pet from this quest. Uh, and yeah, so the reason I have all these elite caskets stacked up, and to a lesser extent the easy and mediums, is just because I'm trying to limit the amount of master clues I get in order to not fail any. Um, so I'm primarily just opening hard clues, and then also the let me check. These elite clues knock off the clue milestone, and then I think let's see. Yeah, that's the last one I have. So once I open 25 more of these, I'll have all the clue milestones done, which is like a nice little thing to have done. And I have all these Winter Todd crates. These are from solo games, so there's a lot of loot in them. So I thought it would be kind of cool if I got a pet while I was recording. So I'll open them up. That one did not have 13k in it because somebody crashed my game. And no pet today. But I got lots of good fish. You know, people love that. Trying to see if there's anything I missed. I think I've covered most of the stuff I wanted to talk about. I've definitely forgotten at least one thing that I will remember when I stop recording though. I can just do a little bank tour as well, a very quick one. My cash stack's a lot higher than it was last time because I did like 600 Hydra, which prints money, but I'm not going to touch it anytime soon. I have a lot of crystal shards from Volcano, of course. They're doing okay. I think I did like 1,000 Zora at some point. I don't remember if that was before or after the last Ramble, but that gave me enough scales to not worry about scales. And then got the Ancestral placeholder. New Dins kit. I really like the new Dins kit. I think it looks great. Um, see. Ooh, I didn't mention the Tonal's Ticks of Ralos at all. I think these are a pretty cool item. Like, I think it's okay that they're not very good. I like that they have niche uses and they feel pretty good when you get to use them. Like I was doing some like high scaled chambers, and they're really good at scaled chambers, um, especially like for rooms and like Olmhead as well, but mainly for rooms because when stuff's got so much HP and you're chinning it, of course chinning one thing that's drained is really good. So you wanna you wanna like Ralos those guys a bunch. Although a lot of Iron Men doing like scaled team chambers will barrage instead of chinning, because of course most irons don't have chins, but I was raiding with main, so I just used red chins I had from the hunter contracts. And then I've got a good amount of herbs stocked up. I've been like casually working on banking 50 mil herb because I thought that would be like a I don't know if it'd be a stopping point, but it's like a good stretch goal for herb lore. So I was doing that, but then I kind of ran out of seeds, so I stopped doing herb runs because I don't really want to do contracts. I'm just gonna let Slayer hopefully give me some if I roll Tower Necks very frequently. And yeah, I've just been keeping up Hespores as well. Hespores and hardwoods and birdhouses have pretty much been like the only hourlies I've been doing recently. Now that I'm mostly out of herb seeds, I actually have some more now, so I could start on herb runs again, but I've been a little bit lazy. Which is actually a good segue into the thing I was forgetting, which is skilling otherwise. So these progress bars are all set from start point 20 mil and point 30 mil, so just 20 to 30 mil. Because I've been like passively, like low key working on 30 mil base. I'm like kind of close. Um, I don't think I'm actually gonna finish it because I'm not gonna finish agility. I just have absolutely zero desire to do more sepulcher, and I don't think like any kind of other courses are gonna net me 8 mil XP. So yeah, I just kind of doubt that happens. But I have a plan for basically every other skill. Winter Todd for pet, right? Temperos for fishing pet, or the Temperos pet rather. And then Volcanic Mine, I was working on getting the broken pickaxe collection log, which will get me a lot of the way here, assuming I don't get it like next pack. But if I do, I'll just do something else. And then I was gonna do redwoods with the crystal axe um, for woodcutting, cause, but I'm waiting until I finish Volcanic Mine to do that, because I made with my singular tool seat I made a crystal pick, and I'm keeping it as a crystal pick until I finish Volcanic Mine, because then I'll have virtually no use for it. I can still use it at amethyst, but I don't plan on mining a lot more amethyst. Fingers crossed. So yeah, just redwoods 5 minute AFK easy. Slayer I've just been doing for fun. I've been having a lot of fun with Slayer. I've been doing Konar. Uh, my rough plan is to do Konar until 30 mil and then go back to Duradel for a little bit to finish like a few slots off. Cause what was it? There was like I wanted to finish these demonic gorillas, but you don't get them assigned from not Cristilia, Konar. So I want to go to Duradel for a little bit to finish this off, and then also get some more Vorkath KC. Thought it'd be pretty fun to do Vorkath and the new max gear. Like if I get the Torva legs from Nex, and also the new amulet, I'm pretty sure Slayer Helm is going to be better than Salve, and you're just going to nuke Vorkath with full max. It's going to be like, I don't think you'll have a 70 max lance, but it'll be like 69 or something. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting that I wanted to do from Duradel, but yeah, plan is to do Konar until 30 mil. Hopefully get the Broken Dragon Hosta at least. 30 mil prayer, already banked. Defense, not a real skill. And Runecraft, I was going to do Guardians of the Rift. I was planning on doing the Dolo method because apparently that's best. Uh, I've tried it a little bit, and I want to do it more so I could see if I could get to the point where it's like, relatively brain off or like low effort, at least lower effort than what I was putting in. Because when I was doing it, I was definitely struggling pretty hard. But I think that was partially because my alt didn't have high enough RC level. So I was hopefully going to get an account that had access to all altars to try more Dolo Guardians of the Rift. But that's my plan for RC, and then I'll just run ZMI if I ever feel like it. I think that's how I got from a lot of the way from 20 to 24 millage, doing ZMI occasionally. I do like ZMI, I just haven't been really finding the time to play enough to do it. It's like, rather, it's just not a priority, of course. Yeah, because I've been playing less this year overall. Although the progress might not look like it. I honestly, I've been a lot of like pretty big item gets. I think I just mostly saved a fuck ton of hours getting corpse spoon as hell, but I'll take it. Let me see. Well, that's everything I had bullet points for, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and fuck Rastaman.